Welcome to VSB News Online for Monday, November 10th. I'm Peter Kitzel. A unique public-private partnership with the Canadian government, which will enable the Bermuda government to build a $200 million airport without borrowing a penny, was announced today by Finance Minister Bob Richards. The project could take 3 years and cost more or less than the estimate, but it will be designed to pay its own way and ultimately be restored to Bermuda government ownership. Mr. Richards spoke of the benefits that lay ahead.
Having carefully considered all its options, government has decided to avail itself of a novel procurement model offered by way of an arrangement with the Canadian Commercial Corporation. CCC is wholly owned by the Government of Canada. The proposed transaction will take the form of a type of public-private partnership, or P3, a model that will allow Bermuda to build, use, and eventually take possession of the most modern facilities for civil aviation without significant burden on the Bermuda Treasury. Some of the benefits to using the CCC approach to redevelop the airport are as follows. This model cuts the procurement time dramatically, enabling shovels to be in the ground and jobs created much sooner than traditional methods. This model significantly reduces the cost of procurement, particularly the use of expensive consultants. The new airport will be customized to Bermuda's needs. CCC will guarantee that the project will be delivered on time and on budget. The project will be financially self-sustaining. There will be a Canadian infrastructure developer. CCC will conduct its own due diligence to be satisfied that the Canadian developer has the technical, financial, and managerial capability to deliver on the contract. The transactional approach will not require any initial expenditure for the airport by Bermuda.
He introduced Luca Lari, Caribbean Regional Director for the Canadian Commercial Corporation, who described the function and history of the CCC.
We've been in business now for over 70 years, or close to 70 years. We work throughout 200 countries. We've done projects all over the world. I myself am based in the Caribbean. We're in our Canadian Embassy, and these are the kinds of projects that we like to see go forward. We've done a few of them of the same nature in other markets. I think this is a great sort of framework for establishing infrastructure projects in countries like Bermuda. I think in terms of what we bring to the table is this sort of procurement mechanism that the Minister mentioned is something that has value for money. It is an expedited way of looking and acquiring infrastructure, needed infrastructure. We also bring a lot of transparency in governance. We are a Canadian government organization. This is something we adhere to. We apply the same guiding principles as if we were buying on behalf of the Government of Canada. So this is something that's very fundamental to the way we do business. We guarantee the terms and conditions. So you are contracting through the Government of Canada. So we will make sure that the project is built on time, on budget, and on schedule.
The next legislative session is the government's call to action. This from Premier Michael Dunkley during a brief press conference in the Senate chamber this afternoon. The Premier stressed immediate attention to one thing so many people in Bermuda need: a job.
Too many families still suffer the effects of unemployment, reduced wages, or underemployment in the economy. So all our energies are directed to reversing this trend and for providing the appropriate safety net to help those in need while growing the economy and creating opportunities for personal economic growth for all of our citizens. I believe that this government's plan strikes the right balance required to achieve recovery for our island home. However, in doing so, there are some economic realities of life in Bermuda that must be faced and fixed if we are to have the results that mean a return to a successful Bermuda. The engines of our economy are slowly turning after sustained periods in distress. There is renewed activity in both tourism and international business, and this is important because while the calls for economic diversification may be loud, they ring hollow for the man or woman who needs relief now. These two pillars of this economy require our immediate attention because they are certainly best placed to offer one thing so many people in Bermuda require: a job.
With regard to Bermuda breaking ground for a new airport, the Premier was asked whether the causeway factored into the plan.
The causeway is still something that we would want to consider as we go forward. Sometimes you can't bite off more than you can chew to start with, so the airport is certainly something that we need to focus in on. The causeway we'll look at.
On the subject of the cannabis debate, the Premier did not mince his words when questioned on the government's position.
Let me make it very clear that this government was elected in 2012, and there are very few decisions that we have to make that are easy to make. In regards to the subject that you talk about, there's no solution that's going to keep everybody happy. And we know that every political matter is like that. I'm disappointed that all of a sudden the opposition has found the bravado to talk about bold initiatives, and they would do this in cannabis, and they would do this in conscription, and they would have done this in the public sector. They had 14 years to do those things, and all of a sudden they found their bravery when they're on the other side of the house. We are the government now. We will help listen to people, we'll collaborate, we'll make those decisions, and we will move Bermuda forward. We're going in the right direction.
A 38-year-old is fighting for his life in intensive care following a fight in the early hours of Saturday morning on a city street. As VSB News' Chris Lodge reports, police have arrested another man in connection with the disturbance.
The injured man was found on Union Street in Pembroke at just after 3 in the morning after police had been dispatched to investigate reports of people fighting. He was rushed to hospital via ambulance and transferred to the intensive care unit. A police spokesman confirming a 57-year-old Bermudian man has been arrested, remaining in police custody. Inquiries are ongoing. Any witnesses should contact the Criminal Investigation Unit on telephone number 247-1383 or 247-1429. Alternatively, anyone with information can contact the Independent and Confidential Crime Stoppers hotline on 800-8477. Meantime, that motorcyclist seriously injured in a crash earlier this month, now recovering on a general ward. The 23-year-old Smiths Parish man was seriously injured after the accident, which took place at 7 p.m. on November 1st on the Middle Road in Southampton, near the junction with Lighthouse Road. Immediately after the crash, he was listed as being in critical condition in the ICU. However, at last check, the man is continuing to recover. He's said to be in stable condition now on a general ward in hospital. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
The tragic death of the internationally respected Bahamian religious leader, the Reverend Dr. Miles Monroe, and his wife in an air crash last night has shocked his friends in Bermuda, among them PLP leader Mark Bean, whose wife Simone is a cousin to Dr. Monroe. In a message of condolence, Mr. Bean recalled that he had first met Dr. Monroe in 2004 when a member of the Bermuda Independence Commission on a visit to the Bahamas. Dr. Monroe died on his way to attend the World Leadership Conference in Grand Bahama that he organized each year, and which will go on as planned in his honor. His plane is believed to have struck a crane at the shipyard located next to the Grand Bahama Airport as it came in to land. All 9 people on board were killed. Shadow Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown is calling on Minister Michael Fay to restore the 2013 work permit condition that required local businesses to hire a Bermudian entertainer whenever they were allowed to bring in a foreigner. VSB News' Brian Darby has the statement.
Here's what Mr. Brown had to say. The policy for many years was that foreign entertainment would be allowed when accompanied by local performers at the same venue. The new policy, set to come into force December the 1st, eliminates this completely and will allow businesses to bring in overseas entertainers without any local component whatsoever. According to the draft work permit policy, work permits for foreign entertainers to perform at commercial locations open to the public may be granted, provided that they are advertised in the normal way. This, says Mr. Brown, is in sharp contrast to the 2013 policy, which held that for each non-Bermudian group or individual employed, there would also be the requirement that a Bermudian group or individual be employed by the establishment concerned. Mr. Brown further commented that if the proposed new policy stands, it will only further marginalize our very talented local entertainers at a time when such work is more and more difficult to find. It will reinforce, he says, the belief that the OBA government is intent on adopting policies and laws that only serve to advance narrow business interests and further diminish the hopes and aspirations of Bermudians. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
After successfully giving away 200 native and endemic saplings to members of the public to launch a reforestation project in the wake of the storms, Clarion Bank upped the ante today when members of its staff went to Windreach and Warwick to join the staff in planting Bermuda cedars, palmetto and olive wood saplings in an effort to make the facility green again after it had suffered considerable loss of natural surroundings. In sports news, Flora Duffy won the Queen of Bermuda Triathlon. The 2014 edition of the World Rugby Classic is underway, and Bermuda hosts international gymnastics and sailing events. Earl Baisden has all the details and more in this sports report.
Flora Duffy yesterday won the Queen of Bermuda Triathlon on a rain-soaking Sunday morning in Southampton. Duffy, who led from start to finish, crossed the line in a time of 55.50.
The swim was really tough. It was very choppy out there. Fortunately, I'm a strong swimmer, so that wasn't too big of a deal for me, but I can imagine for a lot of women in this race that was a really pretty tough obstacle to get through at the start of a difficult race.
Now, obviously the conditions warrant taking your time, especially on the bike, with the road conditions being a little bit slick. Take us through the transition and then out on the road on the bike, and then the transition and then out on the run.
Yeah, I was very aware of how slick and wet the roads were. I actually rode here this morning in the monsoon rain from Devonshire, and yeah, I'm really glad they shortened the course, because some parts of the course were just completely underwater and it's just totally unsafe to ride in, especially given the range of ability that's in this race. And it's supposed to be, it's for fun and encourage women to race, and you don't want to send them out on that. They'll never do another race again. So for safety matters, I'm glad that it was shortened. Yeah, it was really fun out there. It was challenging. I was on my road bike and not a time trial bike, so that definitely added another challenge to it. But that's okay. I felt okay, I guess.
Rebecca Wasner finished in second, recording a time of 56.45, and her twin sister Laurel finished in third in a time of 58.18. The 2014 World Rugby Classic got underway at the National Sports Centre yesterday in mixed conditions with sunshine and rain highlighting the day. A total of 91 points were put on the board between the four teams playing on opening day. South Africa defeated Italy 21-7 in the opener, and then the Classic Lions destroyed the United States of America 56-7. The Bermuda Gymnastics Association hosted its fourth annual International Gymnastics Challenge at the National Training Center in St. David's on Saturday. The Bermuda team placed first overall in the bronze level division with 108.55 points. Hills Gymnastics out of New York placed second with 104.85 points, and New York Elite placed third with 103.60 points. In the copper level, the overall winner was New York Elite with 108.10 points. Bermuda was second with 104.60 points, and Gymnastics of York in Pennsylvania finished third with 99.40 points. Yesterday, only one of the Bermuda Football Association's FA Challenge Cup preliminary matches was able to be completed, that being Boulevard Blazers defeating Crossroads 4-2. The other three matches were cancelled due to inclement weather. Meanwhile, on Saturday night in a Premier Division match at the BAA Field, it was Flanagan's Onions 3, Robin Hood 3, And on Friday night at the Devonshire Recreation Club, it was Devonshire Cougars 1, Southampton Rangers 0. Jarrett Dillis and Ebony Burgess became the 2014 Bermuda Mixed Foursome Golf Champions. They beat out the team of Rod Forrest and Katrin Burney by 1 stroke at the Turtle Hill Golf Course in Southampton. The Harbour Swim Club hosted the Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association's winter swim meet at the Bassa Pool on Saturday. Megan Lau won the 13-14 girls 100-meter freestyle when she recorded a time of 104.79, while Brittany Siddle finished second, recording a time of 109.76, and Anna Wilcox finished third in a time of 122.81. Britton Mosley won the 15 and over men's 100-meter freestyle with a time of 106.98. Tyler Irby finished second, recording a time of 107.62, and Zach Pattingill finished third in a time of 109.80. The Bermuda Optimist National and Open Championships will continue off the East End Mini Yacht Club in the St. George's Harbor. Leading the pack after 8 races for the Bermuda Nationals and fresh off his second place finish at the Junior Gold Cup is Adam Larson with 33 net points. However, right on his heels is Campbell Patton, who has 35 net points, and Tate Stefanook is in third with 37 net points. The Cell One Island Basketball League continued inside the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium on Saturday evening with a women's doubleheader and a men's doubleheader. In the women's opener, the Fly Girls edged the Lady Hawks 26-25, and in the other ladies' game, it was the Court Queens defeating the Pink Panthers 14-11. In the men's division's first game, it saw the Twisters defeat the Flyboys 49-46. The Nightcaps saw the Thundercats defeat the Hoop Stars 50-43. In Senior League Netball on Saturday evening at Bernard Park, it was the Young Men's Social Club Lady Bluebirds defeating the Data Tech for Tees 54-14. The WWC Pink Panthers defeated the North Village Lady Rams 45-24. Bermuda College went down 43-11 to the Young Men's Social Club Bluebirds 2 team. Signwork Nets defeated the Young Men's Social Club Blazing Bluebirds 48-33. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Monday, November 10th. I'm Peter Cattell.